Violence broke out in Assam's Dhubri district as the state government launched a major eviction drive, and then chaos ensued soon after. Tension has gripped the entire area with reports of resistance, damaged machinery, and police intervention. Alleged encroachers vandalized excavators and attempted to attack the police personnel, forcing security personnel to resort to baton charge to disperse the protesting crowd. The eviction drive was launched in 3 revenue villages. This is the Charuva Bakra, the Chirakuta, and Santoshpur villages, where over 1,000 families were residing. Officials said that nearly 95% of them had vacated the area voluntarily after Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and his recent visit. However, a section of people resisted the move. Tensions soon escalated when 2 excavators were attacked with sticks and bricks, causing damage to the machinery and the operators of those machines. Police said no personnel were injured during the clashes and that the situation has since been brought under control. The eviction is part of the state government's plan to clear over 3,000 bighas of land allotted to the Assam Power Distribution Company Limited, the APDCL. The cleared land will be handed over to the Adani Group for a proposed 3,400 megawatt thermal power project in the Chapor revenue circle. An official stated that the families were served prior notices and temporary rehabilitation has been arranged in the Bazaar Alga village in the Athani circle. The state has also sanctioned 50,000 rupees compensation per family. Many have already received this compensation amount. And while some residents reportedly hold valid land titles, officials have assured that proper land acquisition and compensation procedures will follow. The Assam government aims to clear over 4,000 bighas of land in Dhubri and Goalpara districts, with the eviction drive expected to impact around 2,500 families. And a demolition drive that's gone awry. People using sticks and stones to beat up not just the operators of those big earth movers, but damaging those machines as well. This is the latest that we're bringing to you from Assam's Dhubri district. Goalpara and Dhubri, these both have come under light for that mega thermal power project that's going to come up there. Compensation has been given to these families for evicting this land and area, but all in all, in these different revenue circles in Goalpara and Dhubri district in Assam, about 2,500 families that are going to be affected because of this said eviction. And according to official reports, 95% of the people have voluntarily vacated their homes in the area. At least 3 to 4 entire villages that have had to pick up their belongings and leave once and for all. 50,000 rupees compensation per family. And the government has assured that land acquisition procedures will follow. Temporary rehabilitation has also been provided. But the ire of the villages and the villagers in those areas on your screens. The clashes erupted in Dhubri district. Police personnel had to intervene and baton charge, lathi charge the protesting crowd. The land is being cleared for an Adani Power thermal project. Moving on, violence broke out, well, at this point in time in Assam, but violence has also been seen on the roads in Maharashtra because there's cacophony around the Marathi versus non-Marathi political drama that is unfolding. This is high drama on Mira Road that took place earlier in the day, where several workers of Raj Thackeray's Maharashtra Navanirman Sena, the MNS, they were holding a massive protest over the language row, and the MNS workers took to the streets in response to the recent outrage over the slapgate, including Javed Sheikh's son, Rahil Sheikh, Javed Sheikh, who's already an office bearer with the MNS, where one of their members was caught on camera assaulting a food stall owner for not speaking Marathi. Then you have BJP Member of Parliament Nishikant Dubey's controversial statement daring the Thackeray's that has fueled further outrage amongst MNS party workers. Nishikant Dubey had said, why don't you leave Maharashtra, visit one of these other states, and you're going to be beaten black and blue as well. Dramatic visuals show police detaining the protesters and bundling them into vans. Authorities said today's march had no permission. Maharashtra's Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis of the BJP party has taken a firm stand over the matter, saying there is no objection to protests being held in Mira Road, but will not allow hoodlums to run amok. Traffic movement has been brought to a standstill in Mira Road. Several MNS workers questioned why traders were allowed to protest against the Slapgate incident, but their counter-protest was prohibited. Many of them reiterated that whoever lives in Maharashtra must learn Marathi and threatened that those who don't will face the consequences.
लोग महाराष्ट्र के लोगों की सेंटिमेंट के साथ हैं। महाराष्ट्र ऐसा जगह है, बॉम्बे कैपिटल है, आर्थिक कैपिटल है हमारे, उसमें सारे लोग हैं, उत्तर भारतीय भी हैं, साउथ का भी लोग हैं, मराठा भी हैं, महाराष्ट्र के लोग हैं, सब लोग हैं। सो देश में के हर कोने में प्रदेश के लोग जा सकते हैं, ऐसा कुछ यही नहीं है। सो हमारे आज़ादी के बाद हमारा पॉलिसी यही है। सो उसको पॉलिसी को हम आगे लेके जाएंगे।
And we'll take a look at this. The RG Kaur rerun, the Kasbah Law College gang rape. The BJP's fact-finding committee that visited West Bengal is now addressing the media. Let's dip right in.
के प्रति हम अपनी जिम्मेदारी और उनके प्रति उनका सम्मान, उनकी सुरक्षा, वो हमारी एक चिंता है। इसको देखकर एक 4 सदस्यीय जांच समिति की उन्होंने एक कमेटी बनाई, उसमें मैं था और जैसे संजय जी ने कहा है, विप्लव देव जी आपके सामने हैं, मनन कुमार मिश्रा जी हैं और श्रीमती मीनाक्षी लेखी भी थी। आज वो दिल्ली से बाहर हैं इसलिए यहाँ पर नहीं आ पाई। आज सवेरे हम लोगों ने हमारी जांच कमेटी की जो रिपोर्ट है वो माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी को सौंपी है। मैं संक्षेप में इस घटना के बारे में आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं और हमारी जांच कमेटी ने वहां पर क्या देखा ये थोड़ा बताना चाह रहा हूं। 25 जून को जो घटना घटी, आप लोगों को मालूम है कि लगभग पिछले वर्ष वहां पर जो कलकत्ता के मेडिकल कॉलेज में इस प्रकार की घटना घटी थी और सारे देश के अंदर एक बहुत ही गुस्से का और चिंता का विषय बना था। और जिस लॉ कॉलेज से एडवोकेट लोग तैयार होते हों, जिस लॉ कॉलेज से जजेस बनाए जाते हों, उस लॉ कॉलेज के अंदर एक लॉ स्टूडेंट के ऊपर सामूहिक दुष्कर्म किया जाए, इससे बड़ी दूसरी दुर्घटना नहीं हो सकती। और वे भी एक ऐसे राज्य में जहां की माननीय मुख्यमंत्री एक महिला हो। हम लोगों ने पश्चिम बंगाल में जाकर के देखा कि महिलाओं के ऊपर अत्याचार और अपराध बढ़ रहे हैं। बहुत सी ऐसी घटनाएं हमारे सामने आई कि पुलिस एफआईआर रजिस्टर नहीं करती। जो लोग एफआईआर देना चाहते हैं, शिकायत करना चाहते हैं, उनकी सुनाई नहीं जाती, उनको भगाया जाता है। और अगर एफआईआर रजिस्टर भी होगी किसी कारण से, उसका ईमानदारी से पुलिस के द्वारा उसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होता। और ऐसे बहुत से केसेस ऐसे हैं उसमें न्याय नहीं मिला है। हम लोग जब वहां पर गए और हमें इस बात का विश्वास नहीं था कि हमें घटनास्थल पर जाने दिया जाएगा, जो लड़की जो पीड़िता है उसके परिवार से मिलने दिया जाएगा। इसलिए हम लोगों ने इस बात का पहले से, दिल्ली से जब ये हमारी जांच समिति बनी, मैंने इस बात को बहुत मुखर रूप से कहा था कि हमें उम्मीद है कि ममता दीदी हमको वहां जाने देगी। हम लोग वहां गए। सबसे पहले हमारी कमेटी कलकत्ता के पुलिस कमिश्नर से मिली। वो भी मिलने के लिए पहले तैयार नहीं थे, लेकिन खैर मिले, उनका हम धन्यवाद करते हैं। जो भी बातें उन्होंने बताई, कुछ बातें मैं कह सकता हूं कि 45 साल के पुलिस जीवन में, एक प्रकार से मैं 34-35 साल पुलिस में रहा हूं, उसके बाद भी पुलिस से संबंध तो आता ही है।
Well, JP Nadda, after receiving this preliminary reports, had said that, referring to earlier cases like Sandesh Kauli and RG Kar, against that culture of impunity continues to remain in West Bengal, taking aim at the Trinamool Congress. Moving on, in UP's Balrampur, bulldozer action was carried out on the luxurious mansion of Jalaluddin, also known as Changur Baba. Now, he is the alleged mastermind of an illegal religious conversion gang. A heavy police force was deployed during the demolition. Jalaluddin and his aide Neetu, also known as Nasreen, were arrested by the UP Anti-Terrorism Squad, and both are residents of Madhpur in Balrampur district. A court had earlier issued a non-bailable warrant against Jalaluddin, and police had announced a cash reward of 50,000 rupees for his arrest. The duo were produced before a court and sent to Lucknow district jail on remand. The case, filed in Lucknow's Gomti Nagar police station, alleges that the accused ran an organized network targeting poor laborers, members of weaker sections and widowed women, luring them with money, marriage promises or threats to convert to Islam. And the case has been registered under various IPC sections and the UP Prohibition of Unlawful Religious Conversion Act 2021. Earlier, on the 8th of April, Jalaluddin's son, Mehboob, and another accused, Naveen, also known as Jamaluddin, were arrested in a similar case. Both are currently lodged in Lucknow jail. In a post on X, the Chief Minister of UP, Yogi Adityanath, added that Jalaluddin's activities were not only anti-social, but also anti-national. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath stated that his government is committed to protecting the dignity and the safety of women.
जैसा कि आप अवगत हैं कि छांगुर और जलालुद्दीन के विरुद्ध एक मुकदमा पंजीकृत किया गया है, जिसमें वो गिरफ्तार होकर जेल गया है। इसमें इसके द्वारा अवैध रूप से सरकारी ज़मीन पर अवैध रूप से अर्जित संपत्ति के द्वारा एक इमारत बनाई गई थी, जिसका तहसील प्रशासन के द्वारा परीक्षण किया गया। तहसीलदार के कोर्ट में सुनवाई की गई। कई बार नोटिस दिया गया कि वो स्वयं खाली कर दे। नोटिस देने के बावजूद जब उसने खाली नहीं किया, तब आज ये जो अवैध सरकारी भूमि पर जो बना है, इसको डिमोलिश किया जा रहा है। इसमें स्थानीय जो प्रशासन है, पुलिस प्रशासन है, सभी लोग मौजूद हैं और जो भी जहां पर भी ये अवैध रूप से निर्मित है, उसको संपूर्ण डिमोलिश किया जाएगा।
So, a major anti-conversion nexus that was busted in Uttar Pradesh. But moving on in a major Nari Shakti push ahead of the upcoming assembly elections, you've got Chief Minister Nitish Kumar shifting our focus to Bihar here, who has now announced that 35% of all posts in every category of the state's government jobs will be reserved exclusively for women who are permanent residents of Bihar, native of Bihar. The government's push to enhance women's representation in public services across all levels and departments, and taking to social media, Nitish Kumar, the Chief Minister of Bihar, said that the decision is aimed at ensuring that more women enter the workforce and play a larger role in governance and administration in Bihar. Further strengthening his government's outreach to the youth, Nitish Kumar also announced the formation of Bihar Youth Commission, a new statutory body approved by the state cabinet.
जिसमें बिहार राज्य के सभी सरकारी सेवा संवर्गों में सभी स्तर के एवं सभी प्रकार के पदों पर सीधी नियुक्ति में राज्य की मूल निवासी महिला अभ्यर्थी को ही 35% क्षैतिज आरक्षण अनुमान्य होगा। इसका मतलब है कि जो मूल निवासी हैं बिहार के महिलाएं, उन्हीं को ही 35% क्षैतिज आरक्षण अनुमान्य होगा। और जो आरक्षण का जो श्रेणी है, अनुसूचित जाति 16 है, अनुसूचित जनजाति 1 है, अत्यंत पिछड़ा वर्ग 18 है, पिछड़ा वर्ग 12 है और पिछड़ा वर्गों की महिलाएं 3 है। तो 50% यही इसका ब्रेकअप है। वो तो सेम है, केवल जो मूल निवासी है उन्हीं को ही 35% आरक्षण अभी मान्य होगा। समाज कल्याण विभाग ने एक नई योजना शुरुआत की है, जिसमें जो दिव्यांगजन हैं उन्हें दिव्यांगजन सिविल सेवा प्रोत्साहन योजना का शुभारंभ किया है। इसके अंतर्गत जो यूपीएससी और राज्य की जो योजनाएं हैं, जो बीपीएससी की जो परीक्षाएं हैं, उसमें क्रमशः 1,50,000 रुपये इनको प्रीलिम्स पास करने पर इनको दिया जाएगा। इसमें राज्य सरकार के सिविल सेवा प्रोत्साहन योजना अंतर्गत कोई आर्थिक सहयोग दे नहीं है, को बिहार लोक सेवा आयोग पटना तथा संघ लोक सेवा आयोग नई दिल्ली के द्वारा सिविल सेवा हेतु आयोजित प्रतियोगिक परीक्षाओं में प्रारंभिक परीक्षाओं में उत्तीर्ण होने पर मुख्य परीक्षा एवं साक्षात्कार की तैयारी हेतु क्रमशः 50,000 और 1 लाख रुपए दे होगा। राज्य सरकार ने एक कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो विविध कंपनीज और संस्थाओं द्वारा दे है, उसको उपयोग करने के लिए एक CSR पॉलिसी 2025 का गठन किया है और एक CSR सोसाइटी। इसके अंतर्गत जो CSR की राशि विभिन्न कंपनियों द्वारा इन्वेस्ट और निवेश करना पड़ता है और विभिन्न कार्यों पे लगाना पड़ता है, उसको चैनलाइज करने के लिए एक सोसाइटी बनाई गई है और साथ ही साथ एक CSR पॉलिसी भी 2025 की स्वीकृति आज दी गई है। क्या होगा सर? ऊर्जा विभाग के अंतर्गत बिहार नवीन एवं नवीकरण ऊर्जा स्रोतों के संवर्धन, जो भी नवीन एवं नवीकरणीय रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी स्रोत हैं, उसको उपयोग करने के लिए एक नीति बनाई गई है 2025। इसके अंतर्गत किन किन जमीनों पे लगने हैं, किस किस भूमियों पे लगने हैं, कैसे इसका चैनलाइजेशन होगा, कैसे इसका पावर परचेजेस होगा, इसके बारे में एक विस्तृत नीति राज्य सरकार ने आज 2025 स्वीकृत किया है।
Nitish Kumar's big women outreach ahead of the assembly elections in the state of Bihar. What kind of impact will that have? Well, only time will tell. Moving on, a shocking case of custodial torture and death that has emerged from Tamil Nadu. 28-year-old Ajit Kumar, a temple guard from Sivaganga, who was tortured and killed in police custody. The Madras High Court has said today, citing findings from a Sessions Court judge, the court has now directed the CBI to take over the investigation and begin its probe within a week. The agency must submit its report by 20th of August. Ajit was picked up by police last month after being accused of stealing jewelry from a woman named Nikita, who claimed her ornaments went missing after Ajit parked her car. There are reports she is linked to a senior bureaucrat, a claim the police have denied. And what followed later was chilling. Ajit's family was informed of his death just hours after he was taken into custody. An autopsy revealed severe injuries on his head, the arms, knees, feet and buttocks. The medical report also cited cerebral congestion, a condition associated with traumatic brain injury. 5 policemen have been arrested for the illegal and fatal assault. 2 senior officers, including the district police chief, have been suspended. The High Court has raised serious concerns about evidence tampering, especially over Ajit's body being moved between stations. And the case has sparked political outrage, with the DMK government now facing some questions it once raised during the infamous Sakantulam custodial deaths under the AIA-DMK. As Tamil Nadu prepares for elections next year, the spotlight is firmly back on police brutality and the urgent need for systemic reform in law enforcement.
Petition before Madurai Bench of Madras High Court on behalf of AIADMK party. The last occasion, this Honorable Court directed to file a report by the Additional District Judge and also by the government. The report has been submitted before the Honorable High Court. The matter taken up the matter and recorded so many things in the order. And in the meanwhile, government also transferred the one of the case 303 of 2025 has been already transferred to the CBI. But in the same was taken note of this Honorable Court, and we had mentioned 302 of 2025 has also tagged along with the transfer of the investigation to the CBI. That has been recorded by the Honorable High Court, and they are agreed to transfer both the matters to the CBI. And also the matter has been posted at 2:15 for taking instruction to payment of compensation, because earlier the government has not paid a single money to the victim family on behalf of the government. Only the DMK ruling party paid the 5 lakhs rupees to the victim family. But the AAG submitted before the court is that the compensation which was paid given by the government only for cow side patta and also the government job provided to the victim family alone they are going to give. But court not inclined to accept it, and the court directed now to get instruction to payment of compensation to the deceased family and also the injured persons. 3 of them were already injured. They are going to pay compensation by today afternoon, and matter has been posted at 2:15.
And take a look at this. Tensions flared at Kerala University as SFI activists were detained whilst protesting against Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlikar. The students affiliated with the Students' Federation of India, SFI, stormed the university premises, accusing the governor of saffronizing campuses across the state. The protest was triggered by 2 key developments: the use of Bharat Mata image in a university event and the suspension of Vice Chancellor Mohanan Kunnumal. Governor Arlikar recently appointed Dr. Siddha Thomas as acting Vice Chancellor, a move that further angered the students. And police in riot gear intervened to control the situation, detaining several SFI members who were seen shouting slogans and attempting to enter administrative offices. CPIM leader and MLA MV Govindan also arrived at the scene to show support. And this isn't the first flashpoint. Just last month, SFI activists staged protests at Kannur University after its Vice Chancellor formed a panel to screen programs for so-called anti-national content. That controversial order was withdrawn after strong opposition from the university syndicate. The protests escalating and accusations of ideological interference mounting Kerala's higher education space once again in the political spotlight.
Well, the fact of the matter, the Chief Minister is abroad getting his treatment, and nobody knows who's running Kerala at this juncture. The suspicion is the son-in-law. And if it is the son-in-law, then this is an agenda which that's his favorite. And so all this SFI movement is something that has to do with basically garnering votes. Now, the point here is, as far as the goddess Bharat Mata is concerned, this is history. This is not just history, this has been a part of our civilization. If you go to the Indus Valley civilization period, the mother goddess was worshipped, and that worship is followed. So mother in the Bharat Mata is as old as about 2,500 years old. So this are the and if SFI refuses to study history, well, they have a problem. Even Romila Thapar is mentioned in a book about this, about the Indus Valley civilization, and so is Mr. Shastri, another historian, about the findings in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So I think this is essentially politically motivated, weaponizing an issue, trying to create an agenda where it does not exist. You have failed at all fronts, including the health, education, and law and order.
The discussion entire started, I understand, is suspension of the registrar. What was the grounds on which the suspension, the registrar was suspended? He insulted the governor. Because when the governor was on the stage for a private program, not a university program, University Senate Hall was given on rent to a private organization. That organization has every right to do whatever they have within the rules of the university, whatever the rules are there for giving it on rent. So, registrar says that a religious symbol was used. I don't know what is the religious symbol used. The High Court asked him, what is the religious symbol used in that function? He doesn't reply. So there itself he has lost the case. So he got suspended. And against his suspension, the criminal elements of the Communist Party, they come and agitate. And then the university employees get into that. The registrar who is suspended, he comes to the office and occupies the office forcibly. And it becomes a sort of a lawless situation. This is the issue. Now, if you bring some event where in Raj Bhavan, governor had the photo of Bharat Mata and Congress as opposition, Congress says that Raj Bhavan and governors are politicizing. I feel amused. Because Congress, who has been misusing the Raj Bhavan last 50 years, they are now saying that Congress, the governors should not indulge in politics. Congress governors were being used to install and dislodge government. And those people are preaching us.
केरला में पिछले 10 साल से हमारे सारे यूनिवर्सिटीज पूरी तरह फेल हो चुके हैं। सरकार और गवर्नर इन दोनों में जो झगड़ा चल रहे हैं उसके वजह से हमारे एग्जाम ठीक टाइम पे नहीं हो रहे, सर्टिफिकेट नहीं मिल रहे हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी का क्षमता खत्म हो गया है, यूनिवर्सिटी का जो प्रभाव है वो भी खत्म हो चुका है, क्रेडिबिलिटी खत्म हो चुकी है। हजारों की तादाद में लोग बाहर जा रहे हैं, स्टूडेंट्स विदेश में जा करके यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ रहे हैं। केरला में अभी बुजुर्ग ज़्यादा है, यंगस्टर्स बहुत कम है, क्योंकि लोग सब बाहर जा रहे हैं। 10 साल के मार्क्सवादी कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी की देन है ये, इनकी सरकार की देन यही है।